I'm Melinda Sykes. I'm a franchise consultant at the Franchise Studio, and I want to do a little bit of an intro about what we do, who I am, and a little bit about our business. I have been in the franchising role for a little over 9 years. I was a corporate W-2 escapee. I left the corporate world in 2017 and opened my first franchise in 2017. I ended up opening a Wax in the City, which is a full body waxing studio, and quite honestly had a great time running that business and truly making it something that I never imagined. Now, I was in corporate America for 10 years and I was specifically in procurement. I was moving around to different cities and locations, taking different job promotions, and quite honestly, I loved it. I was in my 20s and 30s and really just living kind of the great life, moving up the corporate ladder. And then I would say probably in like my 8th year mark is when the burnout started to become a reality. I was working really long hours. I loved the people that I worked with. It just was a grind for sure. And I just knew I wanted something different. Like I always knew that. I knew I wanted to run my own business. I just didn't know what that looked like because I did not come from a family of entrepreneurs. And I think that is one of the beauties about franchising is it is a definite blueprint if you have never ran a business before, and also a really good investment strategy for people that have. So when I think about my journey and my background, my degree is in communications and I have an MBA in business, but I didn't open my business until 4 years after I had my MBA, and I was still in corporate America working my W-2 job. I was making 6 figures. I had just bought my first house and overall life was good. I just could not complain, but I knew deep down I wanted something different, just a different life. I wanted time freedom, and more importantly, I wanted financial freedom. And I felt like in my role, there was just limitations to certain things. And at that time, I just knew the time freedom was more important than anything. And when you're working for someone else, you just have limitations on what that looks like, especially in those times for sure. So I ended up opening my business November of 2017, left my corporate role, went all in my business and never looked back. And I think that for me, it was absolutely life-changing. I recently sold at a 7-figure exit, and overall, I just had a great experience. It taught me so much about myself. I learned so much in business in general and had opportunities throughout my, 8.5, 9 years in franchising as a franchisee to invest in real estate and do some other avenues that I was really passionate about and really interested in that I don't think I would have had that opportunity, maybe at that time frame or as much time to invest in these other opportunities or other interests if I would not have been running my own business and had the flexibility with time. So I think, just looking back on it now that I'm like, I was so ballsy. Like I cannot believe I did that on my own. And, just thinking about all the decisions I had to make to get there, it was very strategic. And at the time I didn't know that like things were just falling in place. Definitely a puzzle piece for sure, and a lot of learning curves and a lot of late nights and a lot of hard work, but totally worth it now that I think about it. So now I run the Franchise Studio. It's my own brokerage where I help people that were in very similar situations like myself buy a franchise or buy into a business opportunity. The people that we typically see at our brokerage is going to be people currently in corporate America. These are W-2 escapees is kind of what we frame this as. It's people that are typically burnout, have been laid off, or just in a phase of their life where they're looking to leave corporate America. A lot of people get to that stage and that's completely normal. And then they're typically just looking to see if franchising is right for them. I can't stress this enough that the journey of working with us is seeing if franchising is a good fit. And if so, then we can go through the vetting process of finding the good fit for you, because all franchises are not the same and you definitely want to make sure you find the right fit. So the other group of people that we typically see in our franchise is going to be people that are just looking to invest and diversify their income. And so a lot of people are invested in the market. They may love their W-2 job and don't want to leave that. And you don't have to when you go into a franchise. They're just looking to get business cash flow and diversify their income. And I love that. And so we have opportunities for people that can be semi-passive in a franchise or completely passive with an executive model. There's a lot of opportunities out there. And then I would say the other group of people that we typically see are like E2 visa candidates that are looking to come from overseas and invest in a business and gain citizenship through that path, which is a great avenue to do so. A lot of changes definitely with financing with SBA for sure, but absolutely still opportunities out there for people to be able to do that. Okay, so I built this channel specifically for you. This is for people that are extremely curious about franchising, want to make sure that they're spending the time with the right people to get the right knowledge, and truly just make sure and see if franchising is a good fit. So what you're going to get here from this channel is going to be FDD talk, right? We're going to walk through different stages of what the franchise disclosure agreement truly is about, how to break it down, what it explains, what it tells you from a financial health and overall business operations health of the franchise. You're going to get real client stories, like people that have walked the walk, talked the talk, invested in the business, made the scary decision to invest in a business, walk away from their W-2 job, pivot in their careers, and open a franchise. You're going to get real talk from people that have actually done it. You're also going to get Myth Mondays, right? You're going to get content that is breaking down the barriers of like things that people think franchises are, but they're really not, right? The good, the bad, the ugly, you're going to hear it completely here from me. And everything's not great, but there's some things that are absolutely amazing and would blow you away. And people have done amazing things with franchises. There's solid franchise brands out here that truly care about their franchisees. You're going to hear all the good and the bad about franchises right here. We're also going to get behind the scenes, like what my life looks like as a franchise consultant, post being a franchisee, right? Like what that life looks like. You're going to get that completely here on this channel. So if you made it this far, definitely follow us on all of our channels on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the things, and stay tuned for more.